All right, so here we are. It's another day on the Silicon Slope Show. I believe today's Tuesday, but I can't be sure of that.
You're correct.
It's great to see everyone. It's great to see Garrett in the studio.
Likewise.
Yeah, good.
It's very rare that I get a nice
All right,
compliment.
shut up. I hate that I went there. Gosh dang it. Oh, immediately regretted.
We have enough nice people on the podcast. It will turn Clint eventually.
Dree CEO Edgar is on his way.
Yep.
So right now it's just me and you. Let's talk about some news.
Yeah.
Some things that are happening in the world.
Do you want to go funny
Don't.
out of the gate or a little bit more serious?
This is something we should have talked about before we went on air.
I know.
That type
It's just
of a question.
helter-skelter.
Okay, Columbia University has gotten taken over by the craziest thing ever, pro-Palestinian protesters.
They're at it again.
They're, why are they, what does Columbia have to do with anything?
Well, it's just the student body is protesting. It seems to be pro-Palestinian currently.
I guess what I don't get is, why would you protest Jewish students at Columbia for something that a country in the Middle East is doing?
Well, we'd probably need to have boots on the ground and ask these folks directly, but there could be an element of that, or it just could be the war in general that they're protesting. But, this is just par for the course at these universities. What I think is interesting is they also have dozens of billionaire benefactors that help keep the lights on. And so you've got, the students who have rights to do this unless they're vandalizing or doing it in incorrect places. But then you've got the benefactors who also have the right to be like, you know what? Checkbook's closed for a little while.
Isn't it funny how these college liberals are funded by capitalism entirely, and they don't realize the privilege they have, and the people who are giving them money the school money in order for that school to stay alive, they would hate.
Yeah.
They hate that person, whoever that is.
Yeah. So they have their rights, and it's good to have an opinion here or there, but they're kind of doing a disservice to the next group of students in the following years, because if Daddy Warbucks is good for 10, 15, 20 million a year,
yeah,
and they get pissed, it's the others down the line that won't have the scholarships and won't have the new buildings and all of that. So
yeah, they certainly have the right, and they may even be right. I have no idea. The weird thing is where and who. None of these people have anything to do with anything.
probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not.
What does Columbia have to do with Netanyahu's cabinet and the way he's conducting the war?
Yeah, but they've already ousted a few presidents from the Ivy League
Yeah.
for saying the wrong things or not doing the
I'm
right
sure
things.
Columbia's president's about to go too.
Yeah.
But Edgar's here. Hey, Edgar, how are you, man?
I'm doing good.
We're talking about protests on college campuses. Do you ever do
Yeah.
that? Have you ever done that?
I didn't even go to college, so
Yeah.
No protesting.
I didn't get a chance to protest, but I think we should swap those students out for the DACA kids.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I went to UVU and worked full-time and went to school full-time. And I remember, I think it was Michael Moore. Remember that guy?
Yeah.
Documentary
Mm-hmm.
filmmaker. I think they invited Michael Moore to come speak at UVU.
Yeah.
And I had class at that time, and I had to walk through these people protesting. I was so pissed. I'm like, get out of here. Stop. I don't care. Can I go to school? Can I go to school?
Yeah, and that's just like class. Imagine if they made you miss a doctor's appointment or completely ruined your day with these protests. You're probably not going to donate to them, right? There's right and wrong ways of doing it.
Travel, interrupting everything, really.
Yeah. You generally don't want to piss off the people that have paid to be there or will pay to keep the lights on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting. Well, there's a war going on.
there is.
The context behind all of this is
3,000
there's
miles
a
away.
war going on in Israel and in Gaza, and these students have nothing to do with that. As I understand it, they're protesting, and they're protesting other Jewish students. That's some of the things I've seen.
Well,
And I've seen these little dorky kids with masks and everything and they're like trying to push through like police officers who are like in full blown gear, and the police officers are like kind of like a finger, just like, oh.
I mean, isn't it ultimately that what they want is for organizations like their schools to speak up and hopefully have some influence over the administration and what they tell Israel, to do?
Yeah, my only thing with, I'm sure it is, although I bet it's even more around like, we want more attention to our cause, and this is a good way to get it. We know this will make kind of national headlines, and maybe it'll get our message out of what we want to happen and what we want Israel to stop doing and all that type of stuff, what we want to happen in Gaza. So, but I do think part of it is like, hey, we do want our administration to speak out.
Yeah.
I think the thing that they miss is no one would care if they spoke out.
Yeah. It didn't change much.
Yeah, it doesn't change. Like, let's say Colombia's administration did speak out. Like, what does that change? Right?
Yeah.
It's more interesting that they're trying to get the message out like, hey, we hate what's going on in Gaza and we want the whole world to focus on that. So we're going to do some really distracting things, right? That's interesting.
Yeah.
But if they're trying to just get the administration to come put out a statement, no one would care if they did or didn't do that.
Yeah. I tend to have this view. So I talk about, being Hispanic a lot, and I became a citizen in 2019. And that was a long journey. And there's so much gratitude for that opportunity, right? Because you fight so hard to be in this place that's full of opportunities, full of life can be good, consistently good. And so from my perspective, and I think from the broader community's perspective, you just are like looking at it like, what? We have all of this and you choose that. And I think it's just an outcome of things being really, really good. That I don't know if younger people feel like they have to find that thing that they're fighting for. And because they might not have a thing to fight for, they look for the underdog or the victim. And unfortunately, the victim is so far away. They have so little influence. And my concern is, as a result, will this ever end?
Yeah.
What has to happen for this to slow down or end? But yeah, I look at it and I'm like, man, how hard I fought to just freely be here. And I know that that's one of the benefits of being here, but from all the freedom you have, that's the thing you choose.
Yeah.
That's kind of the view from my angle.
What was it like going through the whole citizenship process and, eventually becoming a citizen?
It was painful. I think the challenge for most of us, I think, going through this process is we don't really know anything. And so we get taken advantage a lot. My family went through 3 different attorneys. So it was, $20,000, another $20,000, another $30,000. And so by the time you actually get there, you've burned cash. You spent a lot of time just being defrauded, essentially. And by some of what would be known great attorneys. That, I think, is probably the painful part. But then once you get there, it's this idea that you finally belong, but meaning no one can bother you, because the whole time you're like, hey, accept me. And I think it's a complex. I think that's the one thing I've accepted as an adult, is that it was a complex of wanting to be part of. And so when you finally get it, you're like, I'm here. I can have an opinion. I can say it out loud. I mean, it's a big deal.
Yeah. What was that day like?
It was, what's funny is I remember driving to the swearing and rolled all my windows down at the sunroof, and I felt a sense of ownership. Like I had, this air was mine, but I also had a responsibility.
Interesting.
So it was very liberating, but also like a call to productivity. Even though I've been a productive person most of my life, it just felt like a call to, okay, this air's fresh, this air's good. Can you keep it that way?
Yeah. And at what point did you start Dree?
That was
Dree.
Dree.
Sorry.
This guy.
Sorry. I was thinking of
Dr. Dre.
I actually was thinking of Dr. Dre. Come on. So when did you meet Dr. Dre?
So it was a few years back. The idea happened in late 2019, and that's when I started learning about the space. Officially launched in 2021, mid-ish 2021. Yeah.
And it's Dree for laundry.
Exactly, yeah. Not for
Right?
Dr. Dre.
So not for, my goodness, why would you say Dre?
I don't know. You have a cowboy hat on and you keep talking about Dr. Dre. Dree.
Is this a cowboy hat? So what was the idea behind it? How did you realize that was an opportunity?
When we came to the States, so attaching that to the journey, both my parents went to work right away. And so after over a decade of being in business, but in the restaurant industry, a coffee and restaurant, I decided to try something new. And I just kept thinking about that first part of our journey to the States of how my mom was always gone. And my biggest fear as a kid coming to the States was that everyone talked about it. You come to the States to work. And I'm a big family guy. So I always thought, man, my mom's going to be gone. My parents are going to be gone. So the idea behind Dree, or Dre for some people, is that...
That's me. Thank you. I was like, well, what's he talking about? What's Dree? And then you said Dre. And I was like, okay.
It clicked.
Yeah, I got it.
Was for someone like my mom to stay home and still be able to earn an income and provide for her kids without leaving her kids. So that at the core is where Dree comes from. It wasn't even about having piles of laundry or never-ending pain. It had zero to do with that. Full transparency. It was all about an opportunity for someone like my mom.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
You've been on the Meat and Potato Show and on stage a few times at Silk and Slopes, and if memory serves, you don't own a washing machine or a dryer at your house, right?
Exactly.
Because you use your own product and service. You throw dirty clothes into a Dree bag.
Yeah.
And using the app and the platform, you say, pick it up.
Yep.
And a couple of days later, comes back clean and folded, right?
Yeah, or in hangers or however you want, yeah.
For a lot of people, that's just got to be nirvana, right? And then for a lot of people that know slobs, they wish they would use it, right? But that's still the premise, right?
Yeah, that's still the premise. We've changed a few things on what the experience looks like on the back and, learning from our customers. But the job to be done is to make sure we bring your laundry back in great condition.
And the folks picking it up are going to go, for the most part, wash it at their own homes. And so there's entrepreneurship at your level, and then there's micro-entrepreneurship.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So one of the things we learned over the years is we used to think that our bigger competitor were going to be other companies in the space. It isn't. It hasn't been. The biggest opportunity we saw is people have already been doing this. And if you go into Facebook groups, there are people already offering these services. There's, hey, I'm in Harriman and I do laundry, et cetera, et cetera. We saw this happen in different states. And so what we did is we jumped in and we said, well, how can we enable them to do that consistently and to do it better instead of, trying to compete? It makes no sense. People already want to do this. So what we've done now, what Dree Dree used to be like the Uber for laundry, which I hated that description. But we're actually looking more like a marketplace where individuals and laundromats can list their services. And then you as a customer can go in and search for someone who you want to do your laundry. We want it to be the easiest way that people can get help with laundry. And this is small businesses. This is individuals, but there are millions of washers and dryers across the country and across the globe. We're trying to put all of them on the platform and make it really easy for anyone to get their laundry done.
Yeah.
How do you vet the people who do the laundry?
Similar to, any other gig platforms.
Like Airbnb or
yeah,
something
very
like that?
similar. Yeah, they submit photos, models, and what our app does is it makes sure that those machines can handle the volume and that they're in good shape. And then, these are people that want to be productive in their communities.
Yeah.
It's really a beautiful thing.
It really is.
Being able to see, you sign up and you need a little bit of help, but that individual also needs a little bit of help, and you're just swapping. And it's beautiful because you live in the same community. So it really is a great thing for local communities.
Yeah.
Have you gotten to dry cleaning at all?
Not yet. Not yet.
I bet that's a whole different world, right? It's not exactly the same thing, and you've got to have special material. It's not the same as just having like a washer and dryer at your house.
Yeah.
And so I assume you've got to figure out.
Yeah, so we've been in talks with local dry cleaners and, working to partner with them. The bigger challenge is, one, dry cleaning is on the decline, especially
Really?
I think there are a lot of things that influence that. Work from home was a big one. Fast fashion is another one. And
You're telling me he's not going to dry clean that shirt he got right there, that free T-shirt somebody gave him?
I don't even know if he's washing it.
For the record, you're the one who bought this for me.
I know I did.
But so there's that, and then pricing is very different. So with Dree, one of the things we've tried to do is to make it incredibly simple. We've got some really cool updates to make it even more accessible. But pricing is different because they charge by piece, and pants are $25, shirt is $5, and I'm not sure that changes people's lives at home, to be able to do that. But it's going to be easier for Dree to onboard folks like that now that we're becoming, and I'm going to use the other guy, a DoorDash-like platform. The way that it works for restaurants, we'll be able to work for laundromats and dry cleaners to list their services, name their price, and then folks can decide if they want to work with them or not.
What I think is awesome, though, is you focused on the biggest problem. The biggest challenge in that space would be laundry. Yeah. And dry cleaning is probably more like a premium service where you could probably tack on some margins there, like people who are doing that type of thing.
Yeah.
But the main focus is staying focused is really hard. How is that? How has that been for you as an entrepreneur and as a leader to try to stay focused?
It's really hard. That is the thing I've been thinking about the most, looking back at the past few years. There's a lot of noise out there. And, you see people that you might look up to that go out and say, this is what an exceptional founder looks like, and this is what an exceptional company looks like. And then you have a VC that says, here are the kind of companies we back. And, there's just so much noise that it's not so much focus on how you serve your customers, but focus on how you execute is really, I think, the biggest challenge as a founder. I block out the noise and I try to be responsible in not rejecting advice. But the reality is most founders launch a company because they believe they have a unique way to solve this problem. Most founders, though, never actually execute on that idea because they've been influenced so early to think different. And so then you kind of get in this pivot loop, adjust this, adjust that, adjust, and you never really see a thing through. That's one thing we've been good at, Dree, and maybe it's you can call it lack of creativity, but that lack of has allowed us to try things that we believed would work. And so where we are today versus with all of our scars versus where we were on day one, we're getting there.
Yeah.
And I think avoiding becoming what we're supposed to become has been really helpful.
Yeah, I actually think this is such an important point for founders and entrepreneurs in Utah. It's like, there are tons of advice, and I just gave you one. Why are you doing dry cleaning? Yeah, right? And that's interesting, and I'm sure you've thought about it, and obviously you have, and all that type of stuff. But the ability to stay focused on what's actually working, right? Like, for the most part, it's like that Pareto or the 80-20 rule or something, like 20% of your business provides 80% of your revenue. So you should focus on that 20%.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And kind of only that 20%, right? Until you really nail it, and then you have the opportunity to scale. I do think we had an issue probably over the past 5 to 8 years in Utah where we tried to scale too quick. Like, we tried to scale companies into other verticals that weren't ready.
Yeah.
That hadn't nailed their first one yet.
Yeah. I mean, I think in Utah, we've had some great companies do really well really quickly, a handful, right? And we all want that, but not every business is built for that. And you go out and you see some had a multi-billion-dollar exit in 3 years. Others, it took 10, 15 years. Look at Ripple, 2019, 3 million in ARR. 2023, 300 plus million in ARR.
What was his valuation? Is he 13 and a
13
half?
point, yeah, something, yeah. But
Wow.
But I think you have your own, your own path. And the greatest piece of advice, this is the only one I think I've accepted and taken fully, is don't die. That's it. All the other things, everyone has had their different ways of getting there, of accomplishing it. But the number one is don't die.
Yeah.
Once you're dead, it's all over.
Yeah, you've got to live to fight another day.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can, I mean, I've seen this. Like even at this organization, we've like, oh, we could do all sorts of things, right? People are pushing us to do all sorts of things, and we would try them. But like at some point, you've really got to understand what you're good at, and where you should be focusing, and you can't do everything. So what should you be doing really, really well?
Yeah, I mean, customers. I think there's two things actually that I can look back. One of our greatest sins was we didn't take the Utah DNA. Utah DNA is sell it before you build it. We didn't take that to heart. We should have been the greatest sales force there was for laundry service in Utah and then eventually in other states. I didn't adopt that in time. And the other one, I think, was remembering consistently who your customer really was. Because we had a lot of love. We've had a lot of love. We still do here in Utah. And so everyone's trying to support you. So everyone tells like, hey, my friend should sign up. But some of those folks are doing it because, hey, I like Edgar and I should give it a shot.
Yeah.
But those are not the people.
What a cool name in Dree. That's why I was like, Dree, that's way cool.
But then you kind of get mixed up at who your customer really is.
That's exactly right.
And so I would say that those things I would have if I went back, that would be the one I would nail like crazy.
Another interesting challenge that you have is you have two customers.
Yeah.
You have the people who are doing the laundry. Like you've got to like make an incredible experience for them. And you've got the people who are, paying them to do like it's real. That's another interest. It's like Airbnb. They have two customers.
Yeah.
The people who are visiting, and sometimes I think Airbnb overcorrects on like which customer they serve most. How do you think about that?
I think we're in a time where on the supply side there's a really high interest, and that's not to say that we shouldn't care about them, but they're much easier to please than the demand, because on the demand side, everyone's just now trying this for the first time ever. Mm-hmm. So we tend to focus a little bit more on the experience on the demand side, and we've explored more there than in any other place. What people care about on the supply side is consistency, which no other gig platform offers, right? Uber, you might not earn this week. But with Dree, one of the things we've done from the get-go is on a recurring basis, provide customers the opportunity to just set it and forget it. For the supply side, what that does is it forecasts their income 5 weeks out. And so they can say, okay, over the next 5 weeks, I should be earning this much. As long as they have that, they're mostly happy.
Yeah.
And then so that allows us to go and shift over to the demand and say, well, what should this experience look like? What do you care about? What more can we do? How far do we go? Do we put your clothes away? Do we gather them and put them in the bag for you? That whole range of things. We can explore more on the demand.
And so, like, just to clarify, like, they can plan 5 weeks out, right? You said, like, is that like when a customer signs up and, meets somebody they want to do it, that's who they're going to be working with?
As long as they're happy, yes. If they're unhappy, they can change it. But you essentially go and find the individual and you say, I want to work with this person. And you can either do a one-time service or you can do on a recurring basis. If it's on a recurring basis, we handle, that kind of goes out the 5 weeks that I'm talking about.
What have you figured out on the demand side? Like how to market it, how to like grow that piece of it?
The biggest learning we had was small businesses were a hidden gem as a way to start a new market. We can get the supply fairly easy. But we couldn't get them busy right away because, a household creates 4 jobs a month. But turns out these small businesses create 4-5 jobs a week. And so we made that switch right away. and started focusing on small businesses. And the great
So
thing,
what do you mean by that? You go to businesses and say, hey, you should provide laundry service for all of your employees?
No. So it's actually that's a really great question. I never thought about that, but it's businesses that already hire out.
I see.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Restaurants.
And in this space, and there are only a few players, and they're legacy companies, and they don't have a lot of flexibility. When you sign up for service, say you're a dance studio, and you have showers and towels. If you want to get serviced, the traditional way is these bigger companies that show up, say, every Wednesday, and they swap out your towels. There's not a lot of flexibility. It's a fixed price. And if you want more service, unless they have a route in your area, you're not getting it. And if you do, then you'll be billed significantly higher. Those businesses work incredibly well with our platform because we have flexibility. Use it when you want. Pay for the service you use. If you forgot about scheduling it and you need one tomorrow, you can schedule it for tomorrow, etc.
Yeah.
And they save money. They get a ton of additional perks. And it just works.
Oh.
And then no long-term contracts. These other companies are signing them up for 5-year contracts that auto-renew. And imagine you're a small business owner. You're supposed to remember, because you don't really get a notice, you're supposed to remember that on March 27th, 2028, your $40,000 annual contract renews.
Yeah.
So we kind of come in there and
that's wild.
change that. Yeah.
Interesting.
The competitors you're talking about show up in this little complex here in Provo once a week.
Yeah.
And Dree's a much better fit for a lot of these smaller mom and pops, whether it's restaurants or beauty salons. Most people don't like doing laundry. There are some people that enjoy it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's when they do their thinking time.
Psychopaths.
I know. But it seems like over my lifetime, universally, folks that do laundry hate like blankets and comforters and those types of things. They debate whether to bite the bullet and do it at home or like go to the laundromat. Do y'all do bedding and blankets and things like that as well?
Yeah, so we have a variety of we call them Dree Pros. They all sort of go in there and say, I can do this, I can do that. So you'll find someone that can essentially do everything that you're looking for.
Nice.
Yeah. And now in the next few weeks, you'll start seeing laundromats jump in and list their services. So you'll be able to do even more because some of these laundromats are big commercial machines, and it's going to be a great thing.
Yeah.
The thing is, even if people love doing laundry, there are about 64 billion loads of laundry done each year in the U.S. So it's okay if you love it.
Yeah.
There's plenty of laundry out there.
Yeah. There's plenty of people that don't love it.
Yeah.
We're supposed to do an ad read.
All right.
Is that my cue? All right, let's do this. Here is the new blurb for the new Black Desert ad. I wasn't supposed to read that. VIP weekly hospitality tickets for the Black Desert Championship 2024 Professional Golf Association Tour FedEx Cup are now available at blackdesertevents.com. The full field is set to take place on the 19-hole championship course down there at Black Desert. It's October 9th to October 13th. It's an historic return of the PGA Tour to Utah after more than 6 decades. Look how beautiful that is. The PGA Tour, the FedEx Championship, coming to Utah, October 9th to 13th.
There's going to be a lot of laundry associated with that event.
Yeah.
I think Dree might be a perfect solution.
We should.
Ooh, that's an interesting opportunity. It's like sports teams.
Yeah. We actually partner with the Utah Warriors.
Oh, really?
So if you ever see stains on the uniforms, it's on us.
But I never have, and I've been to every game.
Yeah.
That's a good group.
Yeah.
Good group.
Yeah. So I want to make clear about Dree is that today we are a platform where you find help to do your laundry. It's not that one of the confusions I think we created in the past was that Dree would do your laundry.
Yep.
Dree is not doing your laundry. I think that's really important. It is folks and businesses in your community that are listing their services for you to connect with them. We found that when Dree was less involved in those relationships, people stayed longer and were much happier. So we jump in when something goes wrong. If something's up, we'll fix it. Otherwise, we provide the connection.
Yeah, you're empowering communities to serve each other.
Exactly.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So instead of somebody saying, "Oh, just Dree it," you could say, we'll have Jenny Smith.
Yeah. And, you know, that was a big learning. So originally we thought the biggest problem was folks needed to make sure customers needed to know that their laundry was going to be picked up. And so what Dree did was, well, we'll assign someone for you, and we will decide who the best match is. And so we would, you'd sign up and we'd match you with someone within seconds. And then when that person rejected or declined that order, we'd be like, okay, we got to find the next person. And we'd find the next person within seconds. The problem was that sometimes that individual that did not accept the wash was just busy with their kids.
Yeah.
They couldn't accept it in that moment. And so we would get customers that would message back and say, hey, can you make sure that I'm assigned to Jenny? And we'd be like, oh yeah, we can do that. Manual. Well, all of a sudden we were doing all this manual work. We were working against what we built. And that's when this concept was like, wait a minute, why are we even involved? Let them pick who they want to work with and let them decide if they're happy or not, and let them change it. But let them also communicate, because we talk to our pros and like, we don't want to do this on the side. We like the fact that you have our backs, and we like the fact that, we can get jobs from you if we want. But really the connection is what was magical about it. So now, again, our pros, they have their own URL. They can create their own Instagram page that's called, Jenny's Laundry Service in Lehigh.
Yeah.
And they have their own link and they sign up directly, and we're sort of in the background just powering that connection. That was the biggest learning of.
That's beautiful. What about pricing? Do they choose the pricing?
Not yet, but that is coming later this year. We're going to enable dynamic pricing. So we'll set a sort of a bar so that, we're not destroying the competition, but or amongst them, but they'll be able to set their pricing. And this, what will happen, this is another thing we noticed. We had people sign up in about 33 states. And if we weren't focusing our marketing efforts there's no way they were going to get any business. So with this change, these individuals will be able to, wherever they are,
that's brilliant.
Start it. But San Francisco is going to be a little more expensive than Lehigh, and et cetera, et cetera. So we are going to enable that dynamic pricing to come into play.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
So, as I'm talking about this, I think it goes back to your original, how do you focus? What do you do? This is Dree's journey. Mm-hmm. And ours is going to be a little bit different from anyone else. We're going to take the good that we can, that we believe will work, but in our own time.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that we're going slower. We're working incredibly hard. But it's Dree.
Yeah.
We are not anyone else.
Yeah, Dree.
Dree.com. Dree to somebody. Dree to some people, 2 or 3 people that I know.
Hey, what has your experience been like raising money with the Utah VCs? Assuming that you have, I actually don't even.
Yeah, we
know.
We didn't raise from VCs. We raised from angels here in Utah. It was wonderful. We had good success. We got everything we needed. They're very supportive. What I liked about raising from angels was that these are folks in communities and they are involved in their communities, and so that's really beneficial for a platform like Dree. So it's been great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing
cool.
to say about VCs.
Yeah, that's cool. Do you need to raise? Do you plan to raise? Are you thinking about that?
We're thinking about it.
Yeah.
But I think we have we can do some good right now without. But if needed. If we get to a point, the thing is, the way that I feel about Dree right now is we found something, it's working, it's a low cost business. We're not burning very much.
Yeah. Stay alive.
So
Stay
focused. It's one of those where, if you were to ask me why would we raise, why would you raise? I have some ideas on what we could do, but I don't have a we have to raise feeling yet. Yeah. And I know that that's a mistake sometimes because, oftentimes you should just take the money. But I don't want unnecessary burden. Yeah. Right now, I'm really happy focusing on our customers.
I would say, not that it matters what I say, but
it
I
does.
would say try not to raise for as long as possible.
Yeah. And that's another piece of advice that's confusing.
Maybe
sometimes.
Never raise ever again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how cool would that be?
Oh, it would be amazing. I would love it. I think, but that is another point that's like very confusing. You're as a founder, you're like, take the money, raise, and then you're sitting in that seat, and you're like, but right now,
why?
Why
and what
now?
do I got to do with it? Now I've got to hire a bunch of people.
You have different pressure.
Yeah, I've got to figure out how to exit this company now for these investors. I got to get in a return for them. Whereas all of a sudden your whole focus changed.
Yeah, the focus, you have another customer at this point.
Oh, yeah.
And which is fine. For some companies, it makes a lot of sense. I think for us, there might come a time where it makes sense. Today is not that day.
Yeah.
And again, I love right now that I can focus on the people we want to serve.
Yeah. Hey, did you see the games? Last night, NBA playoff games were two of the coolest back-to-back games ever. The Knicks had like a game-winning shot, and then Jamal Murray hit a game-winning shot over Anthony Davis at the buzzer for the Nuggets to go up 2-0. NBA playoffs are doing well. And then it turns out that the Jokic bros were fighting fans in the stands last night.
Yeah.
So their brother is clearly, without a doubt, the best player in the league right now. His stat line was absurd. I think it was like over 20 points, around 20 rebounds, 10 assists, like absurd stuff that you just never. And their brothers are like, by the way, their brothers don't have like that great of seats if you look at this. And they're just brawling with the fans.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Good for them.
I was watching vastly superior sports, mainly hockey.
You were
I
watching?
didn't watch any of that.
Who played last night? Do you have any updates for us?
The Leafs and Bruins was a really good game. That was the one I was watching. Really, really good stuff.
Another
time.
All right, let's move on.
Way better.
We'll
worry about hockey when Utah has a team.
Yeah, what's the name? What did you guys come up with?
We don't know yet.
We liked Cutthroats.
I like Cutthroats. I like Outlaws. I like Pioneers. I will always like Pioneers.
I liked Comanches.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wasn't there a little noise about Black Diamonds?
Black Diamonds it seems to be heating up over the past 24 hours on Twitter.
Gross.
I don't like that one.
You don't like it?
No, I mean, it'd probably be good for Silicon Slopes because then you could tie in the slopes. Right?
Yeah.
But for a sports team, like, we're named after like the most difficult ski run. Like, all right.
Yeah.
That everyone lies about. Yeah, I can do Black Diamonds. It's like, no, you can't.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
You're hanging out in greens.
Early on, actually, at Silicon Slopes, one of our sponsorship packages was called Black Diamond. And even that felt weird. I was like, ugh. So it's like really hard?
It does kind of give MLM vibes, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. You get status. You have Black Diamond status.
By the way, most people won't even know that's the difficult. So all of a sudden you're like, they like diamonds? Is there
Are there diamonds in
the
Utah?
hills?
Yeah.
I think
Black
Outlaws is probably the consensus favorite right now. People really like Yeti too. I don't really have an opinion one way or that. I don't love that.
Yeah, I was at a poker game recently, and Yeti was polling very strong, which was surprising.
I think it's actually dominating the polls from the general public.
I hope it comes in a close second to the other names.
It's easy to remember, but also associating it with other things. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I think of my sister, because she's always got the thing walking around with her.
The cooler. The cooler of the cups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't, hockey, my sister.
Yeah.
Association is weird.
Cutthroats is cool. Probably the coolest name, actually. The challenge is people have literally died with having their cuts
their throats cut.
Their throats cut.
1 out of a trillion, though.
Yeah. I think Outlaws would be my vote.
I think Outlaws, it probably ties in the history of the state the best.
The mascot will
I've
be
heard
cool.
so far.
Some weird outlaw trolling around.
Yeah.
Little 6-shooters. Yeah.
It's Woody. It's just Woody.
Yeah, Woody. That would be a cool
How cool
one.
would that be?
My kids would love it.
Perfect.
Hey, quick update on the furry fiasco. Payson police are investigating threats after a viral furry outrage at Mount Nebo Middle School. It says Payson police are investigating serious threats against school officials and even students in the Nebo School District. Those threats are related to the protest over alleged furries in school last week. Did you see that they actually interviewed a furry? The one that we were talking about. They interviewed, and this person was dressed in a full dog costume. It was pretty cool.
I did not see
It was
that.
actually a really cool interview.
Did you just call them a person?
I don't know. I don't know what they were. Oh, maybe we're supposed to call them a furry.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Or a lion. What costume was it? A dog or a cat?
I want to say it was a dog. Yeah. It was
Okay.
pretty cool.
Also, if you look to your right hand there's some disturbing evidence that you might be.
Gosh, dang it.
Oh, no.
Clint's taking a first step towards
Furriness.
Look at this. I'm a furry. Oh, my gosh.
it's a gateway
cute.
furry drug.
So back to, anyways, the furry thing is still going. But one of the big names, popular names was for the hockey team was Fury.
Oh, that's the connection.
And I
Okay.
think that one's gone now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
The Utah Furries?
the furries would be.
That might work.
If it's the Furies, we could have Tyson Fury, the world heavyweight champion boxer, and a room full of fun be our mascot.
Oh, that'd be cool.
He's amazing.
Think about a stadium, though, full of furries.
Oof.
Utah Furries. Everyone has an opportunity to just
Listen, I'm
dress
ready.
up.
I've
Yeah,
got-
you're ready.
I'm literally. Where did you get that?
Where did you get it? What do you mean?
Why are you
Yeah.
accusing me? I just saw it on your desk.
You know
Oh,
what?
no. Here we go.
All right. This is actually freaky that I'm even holding this right.
I thought you were going to put it on.
With each progressive day, there's going to be one more piece on him over there. Soon he'll be hissing
What's
at us.
next? Yeah.
I'll be biting.
All right. We're shutting her down.
Zach Wilson was traded to the Broncos. Love that. Hope he starts. Hope he has a great career because the Jets sucked. The offensive line sucked. And that wasn't a good testament to who he is as a quarterback. So hopefully that one's going to be incredible. In terms of the name of the NHL team, Ryan went on Pat McAfee's show, I think yesterday or the day before, and said they're going to do a bracket, kind of like a March Madness bracket, and fans will ultimately vote on it. But I hope he's just saying that and he doesn't let it get out of control.
Mm.
I mean, I
Good
heard
for him for even opening that floodgate.
Yeah, I heard him talk about him being able to control the bots and whatnot.
Yeah.
But
You can just do pen and paper if you want. Is that how you pronounce that gentleman's name? Pat?
Pat McAfee.
Oh, I've been saying it wrong for a while.
What have you been saying?
McAfee. But I only associate him with Monday Night Raw, WWE.
Very likely is McAfee.
yeah, that's what I've
I
thought
said
this whole
Dree, and it was
Yeah.
Dree. So I don't
Yeah.
know why you'd be taking. It's very likely McAfee.
time.
I
Okay.
have no idea.
He's the co-host of WWE Monday Night Raw, by the way. Every Monday night.
Some of the things this guy watches and participates in is actually so crazy.
Oh, it's so good.
No, it's not.
It's amazing.
It's just not.
In
I
a
don't know
year,
why you
I'll
have
have
to pretend
converted
it
you.
is. And then what other story did we have to get to? Was there one more? Spanish 14 saving 1976 mural before old high school gets torn down. Oh, they're tearing down my old high school?
His beloved alma mater.
Oh my gosh.
Sad.
Where you say Dre instead of Dree.
Um,
The Dirty Dons.
that's cool. So they're keeping some keepsake before it gets
Torn down.
torn down. All right. Well, Dre,
There you go again.
Dre, tell us about Dre. I actually just want to call you Dre.
Should I change my name?
I want to call you Dre
Dre
as
from
the
Dree.
founder of Dree. That's what I want to do.
I can dig that.
That's a good name.
How do people find you? All that type of, promote yourself. Give us your 30-second elevator pitch.
Really simple. It's Dree.com. So if you're looking
Two
at
E's.
2 E's, DREE.com. For those looking for a little bit of help on laundry, if you're a small business, if you're an individual, that's the place to go. If you want to earn a little bit of income, put your washer and dryer to work, same place.
Or a Mother's Day present, theoretically.
Mother's Day present, I mean, you can gift it at any time, really, but it makes a ton of sense. You'll be surprised. The first time, it's a little weird, like everything else, but it gets so good. It's a ton of time back, less stress. You don't feel guilty about changing your clothes. Yeah, you could change.
Buy more clothes.
Yeah,
You can change your clothes. Garrett.
That mountain of laundry, I'll just keep going to DI.
Yeah.
No.
But well, I think I feel really excited about the future. We this is a side little thing we've done, but we've also Been messing around with the SaaS product for franchise laundromats
Oh, cool.
to enable them to do pickup and delivering on their own. We're launching our first in the next few days, quietly. Maybe not quiet. We're going to try to make a little bit of noise, but we're also very nervous. But that's it. Another thing we're messing around with at
Well
Dree.
done.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Man.
Thanks.
Good for
Seriously, it's unbelievable. And I think you're building it the right way, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, also the Silicon Slopes Hall of Fame is back. Make sure you go to halloffame.siliconslopes.com. Here's some video of that. Applications for individual awards in categories including CEO, CMO, and CTO of the Year, and company awards in categories including software, physical product, and marketing are now open. Don't miss it. It's the party of the year, and there's a ball pit every year, and there will be a ball pit again this year. Do not miss it. Everyone dresses up in nice clothes and sneakers. There was Jonathan Johnson, Jeremy Andrews. All right, who do we have tomorrow?
Joe Vogel, founder and CEO of Timpanogos Hiking Company. It'll be a good one.
Ooh, all right. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thanks, Edgar. That's cool.
Thanks.